Everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And today I wanted to show you how I made this. It's a really kind of quick and easy fancy fold. And I made it for my thank you cards for the month of November. So if you purchased something from me in November, you can expect that you'll receive one of these thank you cards in the mail from me as a thank you. And so I wanted to show you how it really is quick and easy to make some fancy folds. They don't take long at all to put them together, and everybody loves fancy folds. So I'm using the Pattern Party Designer Series paper, which is a package of, I'm not sure if it's 40 or 48 sheets. That is a host reward. It's something you can get from using your Stampin' Rewards when you purchase a purchase product of over $200. So it's a really great package of Designer Series paper. It's very colorful on one side and it's all black and white on the other side. It's perfect. And then I'm also using the stamp set Biggest Wish for the thanks. So let me switch over to my desktop and I'll show you how quick and easy it is to make one of these fancy fold thank you cards. Okay, so this is the card. You can see how bright and cheerful it is, and it's got this closure on it. And when you open it up, it has room that you can write. And I've added, this is the Designer Series paper. This is one side of the Designer Series paper. I've got some here. So this is the one side, and on the other side is black and white stripe. And then this is the black and white. And then on the other side is this really pretty kind of scallops in, looks like there's Granny Apple Green and Pool Party and maybe black, might be Misty Moonlight. Just really pretty colors. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing that you're going to need is a piece of cardstock. I'm using basic black, and this is cut 5.5 by 7, and you're going to score it at 4 1/4. So that means you'll end up with your regular card base. This is the inside of the card on one side. And then this piece, which is your front, is 2 3/4 by 5.5. So you're going to need a piece of Designer Series paper that is 2.5, which I'm just going to cut because I have this not cut quite right. So 2.5, I'm just going to take a 1/4 inch off, by 5 1/4. So that's perfect. And then your piece for the inside of the card is 1.5 by 5 1/4. And a piece of basic white for the inside that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. Now, the piece that you've cut off the bottom, which I've already gone ahead and cut off. So you would end up with a piece that you cut off the side when you made your card base 7 inches. So you've cut a piece off that is 1.5. And so you want to trim that to be 3.5 inches long and score it at 1/2 inch. So this is the piece, this fold over. This is this piece here that folds over. So you will end up with it being 3.5 inches by 1.5. And it's going to be scored at 1/2 inch. Okay. Now, all of the measurements for my card will be on my blog, and the link to my blog will be under the video. So if you miss anything for measurements when I'm making the card, just head over to my blog and you will find the written instructions as well as the measurements. All right, I'm just going to grab my bone folder. So I scored this on this side. This is the indented side. This is the bump or the mountain. So I always fold into the mountain. And I'm just going to fold my card base and just give it a good burnish. Just helps this fold nicely. And then this piece, which was 1.5 by 3.5, you're going to do the same. You're going to fold on that 1/2 inch score line and really give this a good crease so it folds nicely. Okay, so you can use tear and tape adhesive or multi-purpose liquid glue. I'm going to use some tear and tape on this. This will just make sure it's held together. So you want to put tear and tape on the little flap, the 1/2 inch flap. I'm going to grab take your pick tool to get this off. that. Now this piece, fold that flap down so the adhesive is underneath here, and you're going to adhere this lined up with the edge of your card base on the 4¼ inch side, and you're going to adhere this down. So now you end up with your card base and you've got your flap and it's lined up with the edge. And now it's time to start decorating. Okay, so I've got my piece of basic white cardstock. This piece is going to go right up against the edge of it. And I'm just going to use some liquid glue to adhere this down. Like that. So it's right, your piece of designer series paper is lined up right with the edge of this. And then this piece, and I've got some glue on my fingers. Try not to get the glue too close to the edge so that it doesn't squish out, but I didn't do very well there. So I don't get glue all over everything. All right, so this piece now goes the right way around so that the designer series paper is on the right edge, and this will go inside and will cover up your flap that folds over. So you can stamp on the inside, or you leave this blank, and whoever gets this can put their sentiment on the inside. Okay, so that's that. Now I've got this piece of designer series paper that I've cut. What did I say? I cut that 2½ by 5¼ and then this will go on the front flap like that. Okay, and now we just have to decorate the front flap. Now the way I did this is I've used the Label Me Lovely punch, and I have stamped, or not stamped, I have cut out from Bermuda Bay one piece, and I've got a piece of basic white cardstock here, and I've got Bermuda Bay ink. That away, and I'm just going to stamp the thanks. Now I'm using the Biggest Wish. I just love this because you've got these really bold sentiments, as well as the sentiments in cursive, as well as a little bit of extra sentiment or image if you want to stamp on. So I'm just going to stamp my thanks, and then I'm going to punch it out. That. Yep. Okay, so how did I make this so that it goes above when I've punched it out of this using the same punch? Well, take your paper snips and cut this piece in half like that, and then take your liquid glue and just put a little bit of glue along the top and bottom. And so you can now take these pieces and adhere to the top and the bottom. Just hold that in place because it might wiggle around a little bit while it dries. There we go, top and bottom, like that. And now you've got the Bermuda Bay. Oopsie. My liquid glue hasn't set yet, so just hold that in place while that sets because it will wiggle around. And then I'm going to use dimensionals. So with this, you could use dimensionals and put them on the back of your sentiment piece, but I find it easier to put my dimensionals on the flap, and that way I know that the dimensionals aren't going to hang over the edge, because you only want the adhesive on this flap. You don't want to be sticking down onto your main card base. So if I put my dimensionals on my flap, I know that I won't have a problem with my sentiment adhering down. So now I'm just going to I'm going to trim this a little bit because when it wiggled around, it kind of went over the edge. All right, so now I'm just going to put this down in the middle. And now I've got my card. I have grabbed some of the Artistry Bloom sequins, which I really love. These are adhesive. They have the adhesive already on them. And they are in colors that go with the colors in this card, in the designer series paper. So I'm going to put some of these on. Oops, come on. Pulled it off of one and it stuck to another. All right, so we're going to do one on there, and then one in this really pretty kind of calypso coral, and one in the pool party, which is close enough to Bermuda Bay. Like that. Just add some bling to the card. See how quick and easy that fancy fold is? And everybody loves fancy folds. So it's a perfect card. You could make these up in advance and then just wait to put sentiments on them. But they're perfect for any occasion. All right. So this was my sample card. And that was the one. So with the designer series paper, there are so many pretty colors in it. You could just really switch it up, and you could switch up the black and white as well, just to make some quick and easy cards. And then with the Biggest Wish stamp set, you can use any of these sentiments and have a whole bunch of cards prepared for when you need them. Perfect. I like to have cards prepared for when I need them in advance. Okay. All right, everybody. See how that was so quick and easy to make? Didn't take long at all. I know you're going to love doing this. So if you have any questions while you're watching the video, just leave a note underneath the video, or if you're over on my blog looking at the measurements or the written instructions, just leave a comment there and I'm happy to respond. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I'd love for you to do that. That way you'll get notified when I post upcoming, either when I go live or when on YouTube, or when I post videos, which I do on a regular basis. So I'd love for you to subscribe and be notified. All right, I think that's it for everything that I had to tell you about this. I hope you enjoyed the card. Please leave a comment. I'd love to hear your comments about it. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Happy stamping.